Cool. So hello to each of you guys. I hope that you're all doing great. In our tonight session, I'm going to talk about the conditionals, which is another topic in our ICT PRG 302 unit. Firstly, let's do a quick review on what we had in the previous session. And hi, Maria. And then talking about conditionals to see how we are able to ask Python to make a decision based on different situations. Firstly, let me share my screen. Okay, cool. So in the previous sessions, I was talking about the very basic uh, items in Python. So we had to chat about variables, what are variables, variable naming. We had a chat about Python logic, syntax, and syntax error troubleshooting. And we worked in so many examples in the last three sessions. For example, we saw how we are able to create a basic calculator, how we are able to use input when we want to ask a question and we want to have an interactive mode with our users. So we saw how input works. We saw input ends up with giving us a result in an string format. We also have a chat previously about different data types like string, integer, float, how to convert an string to integer, how to convert an integer to float if we want to change data types. We already have a chat about all of those things. We work on so many different examples, like for example, tax calculator. We work on interest rate calculator. We work on converters to convert, for example, kilometer to mile to yard, all of those things. In our tonight class, I want to go one step forward and start talking about conditionals. Let me firstly to explain what is conditionals and if, and then to see what type of activities we can. Let's go down and Python conditionals. If, elif, and else. Python conditionals. If, elif, elif, as you see, it's something between if and else, and else. Firstly, let's see what are conditionals. Conditionals allows your code to make decisions if some certain situation is true. So technically it's based on booleans. Let me first to put the definition here and then I give you some examples. Conditionals let your program make decisions. What does it mean? It means it only, this is important, it only execute a code if a condition is true. In the previous examples, we didn't have this flexibility. We had a couple of lines of code, and Python went to the first line, read it, execute it, then the second line, the third one, and executed the whole commands from top to the bottom. There was no flexibility. We didn't have any conditions that Python needs to check and make a decision. It was all on us as the code writer. Here it says conditional. It allows Python to make decision and only execute a code if a certain condition or if a sentence situation is true. So we can say they rely or it rely on Boolean expressions. So previously we had a chat about data types. You know what is a string, just like a text, whole number, a number with decimal, float, a complex number, like having a number and a couple of variables. And also we had Boolean, true or false. When we are talking about Boolean expressions or Boolean values, it means that it may have only two options. It's true or it's false. We don't have anything in the middle. We don't have the third choice or the third options. For example, let's start with this idea. If tomorrow is sunny, so now we have a condition. If it's sunny, then we can play outside. This sentence has two parts. The first part, there is a condition if it's sunny. So this is the first part. And part two, then we can play outside. We have the same logic when we are writing codes in Python. We can break down a sentence into two parts. The condition part and the outcome. So what happens if tomorrow is rainy? So if tomorrow is rainy, it means that the first statement is false. It's not sunny, it's rainy, so the first statement is false. And if it's false, then it doesn't go to the next step. So if it's false, if it's raining, okay, so we cannot play outside because it's raining. To put it in a simple word, in this above situation, if tomorrow is sunny, it means that this statement is true. Then we can go and run the second part of this sentence. This condition is true, then we can move to the second part of the statement. In a similar way in Python, we have if condition. If condition. In if condition, code runs only if this condition is true. So the code only runs if the condition is true. If the condition is false, so the code will not be executed. Pretty similar to above example. If tomorrow is rainy, it means that the condition is false. It's not sunny. If it's rainy, it's false. It's a false statement. So we cannot go outside and play. We can go outside and play only if tomorrow is sunny. So the code runs only if the condition is true. When we are working in Python, imagine I want to convert this sentence to Python codes or Python programs. If tomorrow is sunny, so I put it down. Imagine I want to change this to Python code. So if tomorrow is sunny, this section, when you want to use conditions, firstly you need to start with if. So I change this column because if a part of syntax, all the conditions they start with if. If tomorrow is sunny, instead of using then, we need to put a colon. This column plays the role of then. It means this is the end of the statement, and then you can go and check the second part. So this is the first part. When you are using Python, this is the first statement, and we call it a statement. For the second part of your sentence in the above example, then we can go outside and play. First of all, if you are writing your code in the first line, imagine this is line 1. For the second part of the sentence, you need to go to the next line, line 2. When you go to line 2, there is a syntax which is very important. Imagine this is the beginning of the line. Let me use another column. This is the beginning of the line. When you go to the next line and you want to talk about the outcome of the statement, you need to leave a space. So in your keyboard, you just need to press a space bar and start your sentence from here. If tomorrow is sunny, we can play outside. So two parts. Part 1 here. This is part 1. And part 2 here. And as this goes for part 2, you need to go to the next line. And in the next line, you need to leave a space. This space is so important. If you fail to put that space, it gives you an error. Okay? So just keep this example in your mind because it's very important. It causes heaps of errors. This space that you leave here, we name it indentation. Indentation. So indentation in Python means a space is at the beginning of a line of code. So indentation is space at the beginning of your code. At the beginning of a line of code. Imagine I extend this sentence here. If tomorrow is sunny, let me to expand it. If tomorrow is sunny and if tomorrow is Sunday. Then we can play outside. So now here there are two if. The first if is checking for the weather if it's sunny, and the second one if it's Sunday. In this case, both of these statements should be true. What does it mean? Imagine, for example, tomorrow is sunny, but tomorrow is Wednesday. So can we play outside? The answer is no. Both of these conditions should be true. Not only it should be sunny, it should be Sunday as well, or it should be Saturday. If tomorrow is Wednesday, so this second condition is not true. And no play. What happens if tomorrow is Sunday, but it's rainy? So in this example, the second condition is true, but the first one is not. And again, we cannot play. This logic is so important because later on, if you proceed to certificate for cybersecurity, and one of the famous type of attacks on websites is SQL injection. So we use the same logic when we want, for example, to get access to a database. When attackers, they want to inject malicious code in a website to bring the website down, they use the same logic. Example, they may go click on some areas designed to get username or password or any fields, any interactive fields in a website. For example, the sections that you can enter your username or password or comment, they just go and input some commands with the same logic, and then they are able to hack a website or hack a database and get access to inside information. Anyway, we don't want to talk about that topic at this stage. When there are two conditions, like here, tomorrow it's rainy and tomorrow it should be sunny, both conditions should be true. Both. So condition or statement 1 plus statement 2. Both of them should be correct. It should be sunny and it should be Sunday. Otherwise, we cannot go outside and play. If I want to write this sentence in a Python format, here in the above example, you see how indentation works. Imagine now I want to write the code for this second example, if tomorrow is sunny and if tomorrow is Sunday. So again, I start with if tomorrow, again like here, if tomorrow is sunny, let me to write if with another color. If tomorrow is sunny, again, just check both of if and colon, it's important. Then for the next line, you know that we need to have one space in your keyboard. You need to press a space to leave one space, like here. We can play outside, but in the second example, there is another if. So I can put it this way. If tomorrow is Sunday, so check this indentation here. I left one space. In the next line, now I need to leave two spaces. So one space here and another space here. And just like the above example, we can play outside. Okay, so let's go to Google Colab and start with a very basic example. Then I will go back to my board and I explain more. Firstly, let me switch my screen and log into Google Colab. Resharing my screen. And I can see you put something in the chat. Can someone post a link to the WhatsApp group? I don't have access to your WhatsApp group. How many spaces is normally some? So for the first tip, you just need to have one space. If you have two spaces and just like that. What else? If the condition is false, would it cause error? No, if the condition is not true, it doesn't go to the next line. We will see. If the condition is true, it's executed. If it's not true, it just skip it, it ignore it. Thank you so much, Lean, as well. Let me share my screen. Okay, so this is the second part of this Python code. Imagine, for example, mm, I create a variable like age. Let me to make it a little bit bigger. So I have a variable and I name it age. And I say age is 18. Okay, so there is a variable and the variable gets the value of 18. If, please check in Google Colab, when I type if, Google Colab automatically change its color to purple. My variable is in black, value is in green, and when I type if, Python automatically here in Google Colab, it changed it to purple. Why? Because it's a reserved key. We already talked about reserved key. So if age is bigger or equal than 18, let's firstly delete this second part because I said we didn't have a chat about else. If age is bigger or equal, so this sign, bigger or equal, it means that even if someone is 18, they will be included. If I delete this equal sign, if age is bigger than 18, it means even if you are 18, doesn't include you. It's not included 18. Anyone older than 18 should be 19 or 20. When you put this equal sign, it means that everyone aged 18, including 18. Here you see that Google Colab automatically left a space. So usually when you, let me to delete this, if age is bigger or equal than 18, when you press enter, you see that automatically in the next line, it's a start from somewhere here. It has like one space from the beginning of the line. Look, if I type print, you see that it automatically one space or one indentation to the right. Print, you are adult. So let me write this code. So you see that it printed out here that you are an adult. What happens if I change this to 15? Nothing happens. So for your questions that you ask in the chat, what happens if the condition is not true or if it's false? As you see here, age is 15. So this first condition is not true. So if you replace 15 with age, in the left side, you put 15. Python goes and check if 15 is bigger or equal than 18. So the answer is no, it's false. Is 15 bigger than 18? No. Okay, so I ignore and I skip. I go to next line. If you don't define what should I do, I just leave it. It only works if the age is over 18. If I change this to 20 and rerun the code, you see that again, it shows you are an adult, so it's working. If you put 24, you see that again, it's working. Instead of giving a value directly to this variable, you know that you can use an input, like how old are you? So now you know when you are using input, it asks a question, then it opens a dialog box for you and it waits for your response. So it's more interactive. Now let's rerun the code. So you see that now it's asking a question, how old are you? And here it's waiting for my response. So if I say I am 12 and I press enter, nothing happens. I rerun the code. How old are you? If this time I say I'm 23 and I press enter, you see that it goes to the next line and it says, you are an adult. What happens if I delete this equal sign here? It means you should be over 18. You should be 19 or 20 or something. If I rerun the code, and this time it asks how old are you, and I say 18, if I press enter, again, nothing happens. Why? Because you say 18 in the first line, 18 goes to the age variable, then Python goes to the second line. In the second line, it checks if 18 is bigger than 18. So it's not, because 18 is equal to 18. It's not bigger. So the first condition is false. When it false, it doesn't go and check what you may have inside your if statement. So this sign, bigger or equal, it means bigger than 18 or equal to 18. It's very important. Again, pay attention here. I have two statements. Bigger than 18 or equal to 18. When we are using or, I write this down in my board as well. When we have or, if only one of the statement is true, that's fine. For example, in the previous example, I had if tomorrow is sunny and if tomorrow is Sunday, we can go outside and play. But what happens if instead of and, I use or? If tomorrow is sunny or if tomorrow is Sunday, we can go out. So one of these conditions should be true, not both of them. If tomorrow is sunny and tomorrow is sunny, doesn't matter if tomorrow is Wednesday, we can go play. Or if tomorrow is Sunday, but it's rainy, again, we can go outside and play. So when we are using or, only one statement, one of the statement, even if there are more than two, one of the statement should be true. That's fine. If all the other statements are false, that's fine. But when you're using and, all the statements should be true. It should be Sunday and it should be sunny to execute the code. Otherwise, it doesn't execute it. Again, this logic, we use it later in certificate 4 when we want to learn how to hack a database, or when you get more familiar with the SQL, you see that how we are able to use this logic to input some commands in, as I said, in websites and retrieve some data. Okay, so let's go back to my board. So if you want to have a look here, that's totally fine. Let me go back and talk about else and also about or. So let me to reshare my screen. Okay. Resharing my screen. And I can see that you put something in the chat. Let me see what are your questions in the chat. So for space is one indentation, as the start mentioned. Will I have to Google it times? That's okay. Cool. So let's do move to the next step. Now you know how if works in practice. If I want to show this in a algorithm, it's something like this. Imagine, uh, imagine it's something like this. Because in your assessment task too, there is a question which is asking you also to show the pseudo or the algorithm that you use for your password management. So it's pretty similar to this if you want to use it for your assessment task too as well. We call this algorithm. And so here you have the expression, if expression or test expression. If expression. Here, if it's false, it goes this way. If it's true, it goes this way. And here you have body of if. For example, in the if expression, if tomorrow is sunny, is it true? If it's true, it goes to the body of if. If it false, it just skip it. Okay. Now in the next step, I want you define what happens if the statement is not true or if there are more than one if. So we call this else. When you're using else, your code should be something similar to this. If, then if expression, test expression, or if expression. Colon, again, it's important. You need to put the colon. Then in your next line, you have the body of if. When we say body, here, for example, in this example, this is body. We can play outside is body. This is test expression. If tomorrow is sunny, this is text expression. We can go play outside. It's body. The body doesn't need to be only one item. It might be multiple items in the body. For example, if tomorrow is sunny, we can go play outside. We can go to picnic. We can go outside, do shopping. We can clean the garden. There might be more than one items in the body. Even in if, there might be more than one if. We call it nested if, like this example. If tomorrow is sunny and if tomorrow is Sunday. Now let's go back and learn about if. So if test expression is true, then go and execute the body. Else, again, you need to use colon, body of else. What does this mean? For example, in the case that I was using in Google Colab, if age is 18 and above, type you are an adult. It means that if you are 19, 20, 21, 23, all the numbers over 18. But it doesn't say anything about those ones who might be under 18. So I can rewrite that code and say if age bigger than or equal to 18, type you are an adult, print you are adult, else means if not, for all other situations. Type, for example, you are not adult. Exactly the same way when you want to go to a club. For example, you want to go to Crown Casino and they ask for an ID card. Or for example, imagine a teenager wants to purchase alcohol or cigarette and they've been asked, how old are you? Please show me your ID card. So if it shows that they are under 18, sorry, we are not allowed to sell you this, or you are not allowed to enter. So if the condition is false, the body of else will be executed. So when we are talking about else, it means if the condition is false, the body of else will be executed. So let's to go back to Google Colab. Okay, so here I had age as a variable. If age is over 18, print your adult. If it goes and start from the middle of the line, you can use backspace to send your mouse to the beginning of the line. And it automatically detects what I want to do, else. So I press tab, print you are not adult. There are a couple of important things here. The first one is you see both if and else. They both started from the beginning of the line. Look, both prints, they started from the same space, from the same spot. It's important because sometimes if you have less or more indentation, again, it gives you a syntax error. So here, if and else, they both started from the beginning of the line. Print and print, they started from another spot. One indentation or one space to the right. This print you are an adult, it's the body of if. This print you are not an adult, this is the body of else. It's very important. At this stage, it's pretty obvious. You say, okay, there is only one sentence and it's obvious, print you are not an adult. It's the body of else. But later on, when we move on, we will have more and more complex examples that you may have multiple ifs, multiple else. So you need to know if this is the body of if, or if it's the body of else. You may have elif, multiple situations. So it's very important to be careful with the spaces, indentation, and to know if the sentence is belong to else or if it belongs to if. Let's rerun the code. How old are you? If I say 25 and I press enter, it says you are an adult. Let's test it and say I'm 12. How old are you? 12. So now you see that it works. In the previous example, nothing happened. If you put a number below 18, it showed nothing. But now it says you are not an adult. So you can change this. Imagine it's, for example, a club, or if it's a website for adult. So you can say you are, you can log in Or if they are not over 18, to say, sorry, you cannot log in. Something like that. Or you can enter, you cannot enter. So let's rerun the code. How old are you? 10. Sorry, you cannot log in. You should be over 18. Let's see what happens if I delete that equal sign and rerun the test with someone exactly 18. How old are you? 18. So you see that if you don't put the equal sign here, it assumes that you are not over 18 and sorry, you cannot log in. Okay, so let's still work with a couple of more examples. You can change this instead of login. You can say it's voting. If you are over 18, you can vote. If you are not over 18, sorry, you cannot vote. In these situations, you are over 18 or you are less than 18. Imagine a situation that, for example, if you are 18 and 23, imagine it's a car driving. If you are between 18 and 20, you can drive. If you are under 18, you cannot drive. If you are between 18 and 20, you can drive, but you need to have someone with a full driving license sitting next to you. If you are over 22, or if you are over 20, or if you're over 23, then you can drive by your own. So 3 different situations. Let me go back to my board and talk about elif. Okay, so in this case, when you have 2 options, you are over 18, you are under 18. It's only 2 options. So you can use else. But there might be some situations that you use elif. When you use elif, when you have multiple, when you have multiple options or multiple paths. When you have multiple options, you can use elif. For example, if you are under 18, you cannot drive. If you are between 18 but under 22, you can drive, but with supervision. You need to have a full licensed driver sitting next to you. You can drive, but with someone. And if you are over 13, if your age is over 22, you can drive by your own. with no restriction. So in this case, there are three options. When there are more than two options, you have multiple paths or you have multiple scenarios, you can use if in the first line. If you are under 18, you cannot drive. For all other situation, instead of using if, you can use elif. You can use elif. Elif means you are not 18, you are between 18 and 22, or you are over 22. Imagine, for example, for in an exam, there might be three different types of a score. If you get a score over 80, the scoring is 100. If you get over 80, 81, 82, 90, up to 100, it's excellent. If your score is over 50 but under 80, you can pass the test. It's not excellent, but still you can pass the test. If your score is less than 50, you fail. So three different options. So it might be 300 different options. So for each option, you can use elif. Let's go back to our Google Colab and work in another example having elif. Let you go to another block. Imagine I create a variable like num and I use float to be able to accept numbers with decimal, and I put input, enter a number. Please give me a number. So please give me a number. Oh my God. Please give me a number. So it asks for a number, then it turns it to float. If number is bigger than 0, colon. If number is bigger than 0, print the number is positive. So you see Google Colab made my job much easier. If the number is bigger than 0, then go and print the number is positive. If number is equal to 0, here you see double equal sign. Why it used double equal, not one single equal? Because if you remember in the previous examples, when we wanted to allocate a value to a variable, we used equal sign. So when you use equal sign, it means that you want to assign a value to a variable. For example, age equal to 18. Let me see if I still have it here. Here, for example, weight is equal. So as discussed in the previous session, whatever you have in the right is the value. Whatever you have on the left is the variable. So when you use equal sign, it means that whatever you have on the right, put it in the left variable. When you use double equal, it's just like a comparison. If the number is 0, just type number is 0, else. Else means for all other different options. So a number might be over 0, it might be equal to 0, or it might be negative. Else, print the number is negative. Instead of typing else, you can type elif num is, you can do it this way as well. Elif num is less than 0. You can do this way as well. It's the same. But because a number has three options, it might be positive, it might be negative, or it might be 0. So it's better to say else. It means that for all other possible options, just type the number is negative. So let's run the code. Please give me a number. So I give 56. It says the number is positive. 0 says the number is 0. Let's give it a negative number. So minus 65. It says the number is negative. Pretty interesting. What happens? When you say minus 65, so here you say minus 65 in the first line. Float, turn it to a float. Then save the value in num variable. Python goes to this first line. Is minus 65 bigger than 0? No, it's a negative number. So it doesn't execute this body. It goes to the next line. Is minus 65 equal to 0? No. So it skipped this step as well. It goes to the next statement. So this statement is true. It means that for all other options, so it's true. So it started from the top. Then minus 65 was not bigger than 0, so it's skip it. It didn't go and execute print number is positive. This sentence only will be printed if this statement is true. But it's not. If you replace num with 65, minus 65 is not bigger than 0, so it's false. It skip this part. It goes here. Replace num with minus 65. Is minus 65 equal to 0? No, it's false. So it skip this step as well. It goes to next one. Next one meets the satisfaction or satisfy the requirement. Minus 65 doesn't sit in the two above statement, so it shows the number is negative. Okay, so let's give you a couple of examples to get familiar with if. Write a code. Let's start with simple one. Write a code to check if a number is odd or even. Write a code to check if a number is odd or even. So think about it, take the time. For double sign, yeah, let me go back to my board. Again, it's part of Python syntax. For example, imagine I have number equal 17. When you have only one equal sign, like here, imagine here I have a box. What you say? You say whatever I have on the right, which is 17, put it in this box. So equal sign, it doesn't mean that it's equal. It means that you are allocating that number to that box. You are putting number 17 in that box. Okay? So imagine now I have number 17 in that box. If I go and type is the number in the box 17, this sentence is like this. Number double equal 17. It just like translating this sentence to a Python code. So what numbers do you have already in your box? It's 17. This double sign is asking you if the two sides, right and left, are the same. You are not allocating 17 to the box, you are just checking if the two sides are the same. Imagine you created an account in NapBank. So you already save your name, your password. It checks. I give you that example as well. So when you put your username Imagine you have a name and username like this. For example, Connor is the username. And password. It's not an strong password, but just for simplicity. So username and password. Connor, password 1234. Imagine this data has been already saved in your account. So when you log in, what happens? When you log into your account, you put your username and you put your password. If these two sides are the same, it says, okay, your login is successful. But imagine you are in rush and Connor, instead of putting 1234 as a password, he put 12345. So this data is already in database. And when Connor puts 12345 and he press enter, he tries to log into his bank account, he put 12345. So what happens here? Python goes and check. In my memory, I see that your password was 1234, but here you say 12345. They are not the same. They are not equal. So sorry, it says one of the username or password is incorrect. We exactly create and write that code. When someone log in with a wrong password or with a wrong username, it doesn't allow the login and it says one of the username or password is not correct. Please double check. Or did you, if you repeat 3 times, it may ask you, did you forget your password? So 1 equal sign, allocation. 2 equal sign, comparison. Okay, let's go back to Google Colab and see how you go. Write a code to check if a number is odd or even. For the first line, we need to create a variable. So you see that it automatically creates a variable like num int to convert it to integer input. It's asking a question. Please give me a number. So this sentence will be printed and it gets a number. Then here you have if. So that's the conditional. This percentage sign is the reminder. So you can say if the remainder of the number divided by 2 is equal to 0, then print the number is even. Or if the remainder is not 0, it means that it's an odd number. For example, number 3 divided by 2, it has a remainder of 1. Number 4 divided by 0, it has a remainder of 0. So this equal sign here, this percentage sign here, it's the remainder. If the remainder of this division is 0, the number is even. Let's check. Please give me a number. So it doesn't matter how big is your number, because the digit in the very right side is 4. So it's an even number. When you divide it by 2, it ends up with 0 as a reminder. So it will print this is an even number. So when I press enter, you see that it says the number is even. You can change number 2 to 3 to see if a number is divisible by 3 or no, by 5 or no. Let me give you another task. These are all very, very basic and simple. In the next task, write the code, rate evaluator. For example, if a score is above 85, it print grade A. if it's between 70 and 85, between 70 and 85, grade B. So take the time and think about this task. If the score is above 85, to print it's grade A. If it's between 70 and 85, to print grade B. If it's between 50 and 70, grade C. And for all other, grade D. So write the code to ask for a score. If the score is over 85, to print it's grade A. If it's between 70 and 85, it's grade B. If it's between 50 and 70, it's grade C. For all other, grade D. Let me switch back to my board and write it down for you. So think about it, take the time. These tasks are very important. It helps you to complete your assessment task 2 project, which is a task manager. So make sure to write the codes if you get error, to see how to fix the error, what type of errors you may get. Let me reshare my screen. So you have a score. If this score is over 85, let's put it this way. It's grade A. If a score is between 85 and 70, it's grade B. If it's between 50 and 70, it's grade C. If a score is less than 50, it's grade D. So take the time and write the code to ask for a score and print the appropriate grade. Grade A, grade B, or grade C or D. So you will have one if, you will have two elif, and there should be one else. Okay, so good question. Care asks if the score is 70, or if the score is 85, or if the score is 50. Borderlines. Here I have 85, and here I have 85. If the score is 85, do you want to put it in grade A? So let's ask Care, do you want to put 85 in grade A or grade B? It's up to you. You can define the borders. Yeah, as I said, it depends to you. Imagine you want to also include 85. So if you want to put 85 in grade A, you need to put an equal sign here. If you want to put 85 in grade B, you need to put the equal sign here. It depends where you want to put it. It's all up to you. If you are happy to keep 85 as a grade A, you need to use this sign, greater or equal. So it means that 85 now belongs to grade A. If you don't want to include 85 in grade A, you want to bring it down to grade B. So you just leave this as this, and you put equal sign here. It means that if an score is 85, it belongs to grade B. The same for 70. Do you want to keep 70 in grade B, or if you want to send it down to grade C? If you want to put it in grade B, so you need to put equal sign here. It means that 70, including 70, it's in grade B. If you delete this equal sign and you put it here, it means if the score is under 17 and including 70, then it belongs to grade C. What happens if you don't use equal sign? You can try that as well. See what happens. See what happens if you don't use equal sign. Just feel like this. A score is over 85, grade A, between 85 and 70, grade B. Just run the code and see what happens. Does it give you an error? That's a good practice. So take the time, write the code. Okay, so here says if the score is over 80, grade A. If a score is over 70, it's grade B. Cool. If it's over 50, good. Yes, your code is fine. Yes, well done. So for this task, I write the code in two different test styles. It's all up to you which one you like. Let you go and write the code. So firstly, I create a variable score, int input, enter your score. Good. If a score is more than 85, print grade A. If, so now here, because we have more than two options, if a score is over 70, it's grade B, including 70. If a score is over 50, it's grade C. And you can have another one. If a score is less than 50, then print grade D. There are a couple of things here. Before running your code, just put yourself in Python position. If the score is over 85, type it's grade A. What about 85? Do you want to put 85 in grade A or do you want to put it in grade B? Let's run the code and give a border number. Enter your score, I say 85. What do you think should be outcome? Is it grade A or is it grade B? When I press enter, what do you think? Do you reckon it gives grade A or do you reckon it gives grade B? Yes, your code is fine. Cool. Yes, good. Okay, so you think that it gives grade B. Kair says it should be B. Connor says it should be A. Maxwell says B. Ash says B. Okay, let's see. I press enter. Let me close this box. It says grade B. Why? Because Python goes to the first line. Is 85 bigger than 85? No, it's not. So it passed this line. 85 is not bigger than 85. So it goes to this line. Is 85 bigger than 70? Yes. So it goes execute this body, print grade B, and done. It doesn't go to the other lines. So if I ask you, 85 is bigger than 50 as well. Yes, 85 is bigger than 50 as well. Please listen to this question. I said 85, and it says it's grade B. Grade B. 85 also is bigger than 50 as well. Why it didn't print grade C? I'll repeat my question one more time. So I gave number 85. Number 85 is not sitting here because it's not bigger than 85. It passed this section and it goes to the second elif. Is 85 bigger than 70? Yes, and it printed grade B. But why it didn't print C? Because 85 is also bigger than 50. Yes, very good. So Connor, you're right. It's the highest first. Care, it doesn't go to the next line. Correct. Correct. Yes, so your answers are correct. As discussed before, Python is an interpreter-based programming language. It means that it goes line by line. What happens if I cut this? So imagine, again, remember 85 was grade B. So what happens if I cut this section? Oh, sorry. Uh, Sorry, I reckon I deleted the whole code, unfortunately. Let me to rewrite it again. It's all deleted. So score is equal. Input, please give me the score. And if a score is over 80, it's grade A. If it's over 70, it was 85. If it's over 70, it's grade B. And if it's over 50, it's grade C. Grade C, and here it's grade B. Grade B. So let's rerun the code again. Now this time you see that it has the equal sign as well. Let me to delete this equal sign and rerun the code. Give me your score, 85, and it says it's grade B. What happens if I cut this section and bring it one level up? I mean here, instead of having over 70 as a grade B, I change it like this. 50 is grade C, and I just reorder it. It's grade B. It's the same thing, yeah? I just reorder it. If it's over 85, it's grade A. If it's over 70, it's grade B. If it's between 70 and 50, it's grade C. What happens if I rerun the code and again I give 85? What do you think? It will be C, yes? In the previous example, 85 was grade B. So Ash says this time it should be 50. What happened? Why it should be B or why it should be C? The previous example is still the same. I didn't change anything. I just reordered them. So do you reckon it shows grade B or it shows grade C? Ash says grade C. Any other opinion? Grade C. Let's see. It shows grade C. Why? Because when you give it number 85, Python goes to the second line. Is 85 bigger than 85? No. So this line is false. It will skip this body. Then it goes to this line. Is 85 bigger than 50? Yes, it's true. So it goes and shows its grade C. And it doesn't go to the other lines. It just stops checking the other lines. It terminates the process. So the order is important. And again, we need to remember that it runs the code from top to the bottom. It's very, very, very important because later on, for example, in cybersecurity, later on we will see that you want to configure a firewall, you want to configure an IPS system, and you have multiple rules. For example, you say, go and block this IP, block this IP, allow this IP. So the order of your codes is very important. When you get the logic from this unit, it helps you later in cybersecurity as well. When you want, as I said, to set up multiple rules. In a firewall, firewall is a device for network protection. In a firewall, there might be 200 different rules to allow or block some traffic, to allow or block an IP, to allow or block a protocol. So when you have this mindset, you know that it's a stuff from top to the bottom. If this condition is true, it just stops the whole process. It doesn't go to the next line. I did nothing. I just reordered the codes. But you see that it has an impact. There is another interesting game that I will show you in the next session. You see the order of your codes is important. So if I go back here and change this to 70, again, remember, it told us that 85 is grade C. So now I change it back to the previous order and change this to grade C. So if I rerun the code, look here, it was grade C. If I rerun the code, 85, you see that now it changed to grade B. Why? Because it goes to this line, and when it's true, it doesn't go and check the other lines. For 85, if you want to put 85 as grade A, you need to put an equal sign here. If you want to have equal 85 in grade B, so you just delete this. Let's do test with another number. For example, number 20. So it doesn't show anything. Why? Because you didn't define. You just define if a number is over 85, if it's between 70 and 85, if it's between 50 and 70. But Python doesn't have any idea what you want to do, which number is less than 50. So it did nothing. Let's rerun the code and give a number below 50, like 45. Again, it does nothing. Why? Because it doesn't have any idea. If you want to define it, you need to go and type else print grade D. So let's rerun the code. 45. Now you see that it says it's grade D. Let me to make my screen a little bit bigger than this. It says it's grade D. What happens if you fail the indentation? Here you see all the prints, they started from the same spot. If, elif, and else, they also started from the same spot. What happens if I put print here? Let's run the code. It gives an error. It says expected and intended block after if, a statement on line 2. So it tells you that, look, indentation has compromised in line 2. So I press tab. What happens if I go to this line and I bring it to the beginning of the line? Let's rerun the code. Again, here it says in line 6, you have an indentation error. So I need to send it back one indentation. What happens if I send it to the space to the right, like this? So it seems that it's working. Give me a number. I say number 55, and it says it's grade C. So I reckon it was one of the questions in the chat as well. Usually it's better to keep it nice, having only one indentation for each block. But you see that it's still working. If I try again with 53, 56, it's still working. Later on, you will see when we may have multiple nested if, it might be problematic. But at this stage, again, see if, L if, and else, they all started from the beginning of the line. And it's better to have the body of ifs and elifs starting from the same spot. Okay, so for the, let me give you another task. Another task, a speed find calculator. So probably you know that these days they issue so many infringement for speeding, even just for a few kilometers. If you, for example, have like 5 km over the threshold, they send you an infringement. Imagine mm, it's in a school zone and max speed is 40. If your speed is somewhere between 40 and 50, 40 between 40 and 50, then $250 plus 3 points. If your speed is between 50 to 60, mm, 450 and 4 points. Over 60, 700 bucks and 5 points. It's exactly the same things in the speeding cameras. You know, when you get a fine, there are some sensors. The sensors check your speed, and then based on your speed, it automatically issue an infringement for you, and it has your address in the system as well. So if your speed is between 40 and 50, you get 250 infringement plus 3 points, losing 3 points. If your speed is between 50 to 60, then you get 450 infringement plus losing 4 demerit points. And if your speed is over 60, then you get $700 infringement and 5 points. So write the code. Now that you are familiar with these conditionals, you see it's so easy. You just need to type a couple of lines of code, and for input, it can get the data from cameras, from sensors, and it automatically print and issue an infringement and send it to your address. It's all automatic with just a few lines of code. Maxwell, let's see. Okay, so in your screenshot, Maxwell, if you just go and read the syntax error, I see that your classmate, they help you. It says that you forgot to put a colon. After else, you need to put a colon. It says in line 8, expected colon is missing. Let me see your other comments in the chat. Okay. So in the meantime that you're thinking on this task, let me also to update the attendance. Ahmed is here. Ash, I can see is here. Christian is here. Connor, Dan, and Griffin. Connor, Dan, and Griffin. Care, Karen, and Lynn. Care, Karen, and Lynn. Mahmoud and Maria. Nathan and Nom. Peter is here. Priyanka, Sanjay, and Stuart. Sanjay, Priyanka, and Stuart. Sarvajit is not here in the class tonight. Samit and Zach. Okay, so let's see what you've done. Not a problem. Start is a way of showing line numbers in Google Colab. I don't think so. Because it's not line 1. You see that it has line 15 to 26, so it's in a block. So technically, if you have an issue here, it shows in line 3, but it's line 29 because all of these blocks, they are part of your code. Okay, so let's run this code. Speed find calculator, maximum speed is 40. Care, float, input. If speed is less than, you are not speeding, no, fine, cool. If it's over 50, 350, 3 demerit points. Yeah, cool. So yeah, your code is fine. So this is KR code. What it does, firstly, you have a variable for saving a speed. Here, instead of int, KR used float. So it gives us the option also to get the decimal, 56.2. If you use int, it should be a whole number. It doesn't accept decimal, but here it's a better option to use float. Enter your speed. So here you type your speed. But later on, you will see, for example, you have all the data from the cameras and you can import it to Python. Python is able to go and read all of those data and detect if the speed is less than 40. So no fine and everything is good. If a speed is over 50, so it's over speeding, 250 fine and 3 demerit points. If your speed is over 60, you were speeding, 450 fine and 4 demerit points. And if it's over 60, it means that if you're 61, 62, 63, 64, 70, 80, 100, even 120. So technically there is no difference between 61 and 120K. Both of them we'll end up with $700 infringement and losing 7 or 5 demerit points. So if a speed is over 60, you get 450. If it's over 70, here, there is a good trick here. Obviously, we don't have negative numbers, but when you use else means any situation not mentioned above. So here, if your speed is less than 40, it includes probably positive numbers. If you give I just leave it for you to try with a negative number to see if it works or not. But let's first run the code. It says expected and intended block in line 3. And it's correct because here I need to have an indentation. So I send this print 1 space to the right, this one to the right, and this one to the right. Let's bring this back. So it should be fine. Enter the speed. So if the speed is 40, all good, so it's working. If the speed is 49, so you get 250 3 demerit points, correct. If a speed is 50, you get 250, okay, correct. If your speed is 120, so you locate to line 4, $700 infringement and 7 demerit points. Let's see what happens if I put a negative number. Yeah, definitely we don't have negative speed. So it's working. Let's try 0. Okay, cool. So the code is working. You can put any other number. Let's put 60.30. Again, 60.30. It means that you go to this area. Sorry, to this area. It's over 60. Let's try bit number 55. So when you say 55, 55 goes to a speed variable. Python goes to the first line. Is 55 here a speed we replace with 55? Is 55 less or equal to 40? No. So it skipped this line. It goes here. Is 55 less than or equal to 50? No. So it will skip this line as well. Then it goes to this line. Is 55 less than or equal to 60? Yes. So it's a true statement. It goes and print you were speeding and 450 fine and 4 demerit points. It's a difference int and integer. Indentation got removed and pasting. Yes, correct. I fixed it. I didn't get your question, Mario. It's a difference int and integer. No, both of them are the same. Int stands for integer. Instead of typing the whole integer, you can put int, which is standing for integer. Both of them are the same thing. Not a problem. Okay, cool. Any question?